Small phones are quite rare nowadays, but if you've been looking for one, I think this is the best one that's available on the market right now. So this is the new Zenfone 10. They've added a whole bunch of new features that are really cool, but they've kept a lot of the most important stuff. It still has the headphone jack, something that very few phones have nowadays. And they also have a 30-watt charger in the box still. How many devices still do that, right? And it still comes with a hard case in the box. Now, one of the best features of the Zenfone 10 is its battery life. So they didn't increase the battery size, it's still 4,300 milliamp hours, but because it's such a small phone, it has an excellent battery size to weight ratio. Now, the chip that's in here is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. It's a more energy efficient chip this year than the previous iteration of this phone, but it's still not quite like a 2-day battery. It's like a day and a half and change, but it's just a more energy efficient chip and more energy efficient phone in the Zenfone 10. Now, also, this year they have finally wireless charging. It's something we've wanted forever, and it's a very thin component. I feel like they could have just added this at any point over the past couple of years, but who knows why they didn't do it. It's finally in here. That's all that matters. You also get your classic ASUS battery controls to be able to maintain proper battery health over the life of the device, so you can reduce the charging rate as well as the charging limit of the device. But another reason why battery life is so good on this device is simply because it's got a smaller screen. So it's got a 5.9-inch display. It has been upgraded to a 144 hertz refresh rate if you're playing games, which is a little overkill because I feel like on a device like this, your thumbs are covering like a third of the screen when you're playing games. It's fine for watching shows, but the one-handed accessibility is awesome. Like if you ever need to do something with another hand, if you need to like hold on to something or use something in that other hand, it's just way easier to type or interact with UI elements on the screen when using a smaller phone like this. It's got a great camera system, 50 megapixel main, 13 megapixel ultra wide. I think ASUS's cameras over the past couple of years have been really good, but the main feature this year, the thing that's just like really special, is their latest version of their HyperSteady image stabilization tech. There's an optical component, so the camera itself can wiggle around for optical image stabilization, but the majority of it is done with software. Now, this year, a lot of companies have this kind of aggressive image stabilization. So Apple has their Action Cam, Samsung has their equivalent of it, and they're all pretty good at it, but the Zenfone 10 just excels. So in this clip here, the Samsung and Apple flagships are struggling with it because it's a low light area, but the Zenfone 10 still looks really good. Now, it's a very aggressive crop. In order to pull this off, they have to crop off a ton of the edges of the shot just to be able to keep that stabilization tight, but the image quality is quite nice. So if you have kids or pets and you want to chase after them to get nicely stabilized footage, this phone does a pretty good job. Other thing, there's this new feature this year where you can double tap the volume key while the phone is off, and it'll launch the camera app automatically and take a burst of 3 shots. And it's just for like if you're in a pinch and you see something happen, you want to capture it while the phone's off, double click it, and it takes 3 photos. Oh my God. Yeah, so it's got a great camera system this year with a bunch of neat features. Now the new color this year is their new Aurora Green. It's kind of like this minty green color. The white is also new this year. So last year they had a white that they called Moonlight White. That was kind of like this creamy color, but this year it's a much brighter white and they call it Comet White. And they also have a red color, which they're calling Eclipse Red this year, but the Midnight Black as well as the Starry Blue remain unchanged. I gotta say though, there's something about the back plates on these things that I really like. It's got this like soft touch texture to it. It's not like a rubbery soft touch like you might see on laptops, and that stuff wears out. This stuff seems very durable, and it's got this like strangely premium feel to it. I wish more companies would use this kind of material on the backs of phones. Like this device here, the Zenfone 9, my editor's been using it for like 7-8 months. It's pristine. Like this has been used without a case, no scuffs on it back. Like the aluminum's been dinged a little bit, but the plastic material, it still holds up. So I feel like the Zenfone 10 is like the king of the small phones. And I think one of the main reasons why they've seen so much success with the Zenfone line is because they care about battery life. Most companies that do small phones, like they just have garbage battery life. These guys don't. It's actually strangely impressive. Now, if there's one thing I would knock on, it would be their software support. So you get 4 years of security updates, but only 2 years of major OS updates. I'd like to see at least 3. But there you have it, the Zenfone 10. Now, in terms of pricing, they haven't revealed it to me yet, but my understanding is that it's going to be very similar to last year. So last year was, I think, €799 and $699 US at the base, which is what I would consider to be pretty fair for what we're getting. Okay, Zenfone 10, small phone with a lot of cool features that you just can't get anywhere else.